How's camp going so far?
Well, what are we, 4 days in, first day of pads today. So excited to see where our guys are. I hope we got a little energy level today with these guys. It's been really good to this point, but that's just it. I mean, we've been in shorts and shoulder pads the last couple of days, so but we've seen some good stuff. And I've been really pleased with a lot of the young guys and some of our older guys have really done a good job.
What's the plan for the first day in pads?
We're gonna hook it up, man. We're gonna get after it right now. I mean, we're gonna blow the horn here in a minute, and we're gonna see who's gonna win, offense or defense. And we're gonna keep score, and somebody's gonna pay the price if they lose.
Do you find that traditionally the offense or defense advances faster at the beginning of camp, or does that vary from one year to the next?
Usually, when you're going through your install, your defense has a tendency to be a little bit ahead of you as an offense, being an offensive coach. And it slowly, evens out over the course of camp. But and I would say we're probably there right now. I know that we keep competition every day in practice, and I know the defense has pretty much got the offensive number over the last few days. So, but we'll see. It'll change in a hurry.
How much of it is teaching your systems right now? How much of it is teaching just kind of your pace, your tempo, your way of doing things?
Well, yeah, I think it's all of it right now. I think definitely you're teaching. You're trying to install, but there was so much retention level from the summer. I was very impressed with that. I think our guys have done a great job of retaining the information from the spring. So that's been a huge hit. So it's allowed us to really coach the technique of it instead of the install. So I think some of that is some of it, but you're at a point in time in camp where it gets information overload, which is okay. That's what camp's supposed to be about. And we'll know when to back off of them, but today and today.
How much of it is a culture change too?
A huge bit. Teaching guys how to practice, what you expect in practice, how we practice, the different tempos in practice, and when it's a live day, a thud day, a tracking day. I mean, all that is huge in the whole process of things.
After what some of these guys have been through here, I mean, is it some of it also trying to build these guys to get some confidence back in some of the players?
Well, I think our strength staff did a great job this summer. Coach True and his staff did an unbelievable job getting these guys in shape, stronger. There's been so many of them that totally just transformed their whole body. And with that comes confidence. And so we got them from the weight room, from the strength staff. He handed handed those guys to us with a little bit of confidence. So I'm excited about that. But in the end, yeah, you got to build confidence in these guys. But when you're 1-11, you got to have a little confidence. And so we got to build that up. But that's behind us, and that's all we got to do is look forward and to what's ahead of us, and don't forget about what 1-11 tasted like. But we're not gonna dwell on it.
So what are you looking forward to the most?
Hooking it up here in just a few minutes. I want to see now that the pads are on, how these guys are gonna respond, how these guys are gonna play.
You haven't been in pads yet, but after a few practices in shorts, has anybody jumped out compared to where you saw them at the end of the spring? Anyone surprised you in the first week?
Well, our offensive line has really done a good job. Really, and I don't want to say surprised us because we saw some flashes of those guys in the spring. That there could be some opportunity there for some guys and some to really show a big improvement over the years in the past. Those guys are a lot closer knit bunch of guys, as they all are. The whole team is, because of what they had to battle through this summer together. But Chris Weeks totally has changed his entire body. I mean, all these guys so much stronger. Their body lean is so much different than what it was in the spring, and so they're playing with a very high level of confidence right now. Our D line is moving around well. I think Shaq Randolph. Obviously, we know what Shaq Randolph is capable of doing. Has been a pleasant surprise, and going to continue to build off of him and his momentum. But there's been quite a few guys. We've had shoulder pads on the last few days, so we've been able to have a little bit of contact. But we got the thing that impresses me the most right now. We got great energy. Our practice has unbelievable energy. These guys, their work ethic has been incredible, and so that's not an issue.
You mentioned the defensive line. At the end of spring, Zach Wood was inside playing tackle. Is that a full-time move, or is he going to flip-flop between the two?
Well, right now Zach Wood's inside, and he gives us obviously gives us the size. I mean, we've actually had to go back and refit Zach Woods for shoulder pads. He's changed his body that much in a short period of time, and so I think if you ask Zach, he'd probably tell you the same thing. I mean, some of these guys are having an incredible amount of fun right now. I mean, we're working hard. We're working the living fire out of them, but they're having a good time doing it. And you know, as you watch practice, you see it's very upbeat. And I mean, guys are moving around, and we're on and we're off. We're getting our work in, and it's been really good.
How important is finding a cohesive offensive line to the success of your offense?
Well, I think you asked any coach in the country, they'll probably tell you the same thing. That it's, you know, an offensive line is you know, it's so instrumental in your success in any category. I mean, obviously we want to run the football, so we got to have some guys up front that are going to be able to knock some people back. And you know, the game of football is won on 1 yard of this side of the ball or 1 yard on that side of the ball. That's how you win a game of football. And so the object is we got to get it that way. And so these guys have, again, taken great pride in it and getting better.
Some coaches like to give their starter a lot of time to know who's the guy, but when would you guys like to name a starter at quarterback?
Well, right now Matt is our starter, and you know, but there's some great competition going on behind him, and it needs to be. We got some guys that are going to play this year. I mean, going to have to. We got to get them ready just in case something happens. But we'll see how it goes. Matt's had a good camp to this point, and he'll keep getting better. But you know, the thing we want right now is everybody's job's on the line. Yeah, I may have you starting today, but tomorrow maybe somebody else. And so right now Matt's our starter, and he's had a good camp. Ben's had a good camp. Daryl's done some really good things, and so we'll take it day to day.
With everybody being new to your system, how do you balance wanting to get Matt as many snaps as possible to be ready for Baylor, as opposed to also getting snaps for some backups? How do you split those up when you go to 11-on-11 in practice?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have an opportunity. We rep 3 different groups, and so we're getting 3 different levels of guys ready to go at any given time. So every period of practice, you're getting your first group, your second group, your third group. They're all getting reps, and it's because of the pace of practice that we go at. We're able to do that.
In terms of pads, in terms of full contact, but it's been a pretty exciting, pretty competitive few practices even without the pads.
Coach Morris was talking about Zach Wood. You moved him inside in the spring, and he said that's pretty much a full-time move. What did you like about him that made you decide to move him inside, or was it simply a matter of managing numbers? Well,
number one, we had to manage numbers. We were thin inside, and he was a likely suspect when we first got here. But what he's shown so far is his incredible strength. You know, he's one of our stronger guys, and he's smart. You know, he's played a lot, so we feel good about making that move, and we feel like as he continues to grow there, it's going to be a positive thing for us all the way around.
Was he receptive to the idea, or was it a tough sell for you and Coach Wyatt and whoever else was in those conversations?
Well, we had to twist his arm a little bit because he wanted to play linebacker. I'm just joking, right? No, it was an easy move for us, and actually he thought that may happen, so he kind of he had questions about it, but he's hit the ground running, and we're excited, and he has been as well.
What's the biggest adjustment going inside? Obviously he's bulked up a little bit, but in terms of assignments and learning the scheme, what's the biggest adjustment for him?
Well, I think that's the biggest thing for him is the size. The fact that he's had to adjust a little bit there from his size. But like I said, he's incredibly powerful. His quickness is something that we've been able to utilize. So it's been a great move, and we're excited for where he's going to be able to go with that move.
What do you like about Tuiasa Sopa had been a senior here?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's been a pleasant surprise because he's shown that he's a smart player. Now, he was injured most of the spring, so we didn't see him a whole lot. But he's come out here and he's made some really good plays as we've gone. So his size is one that's been a benefit. The fact that he's played some football, he's a senior. So we have some lofty expectations for him.
One of the guys that you put a lot of emphasis on in the spring was Shaq Randolph. Then he got hurt, missed a little time. How does he look now that he's healthy and back out with you?
Like I said, like you said, he was hurt, but he's been out here and he's been an incredible leader, just like he was during the off season. So he hadn't missed a beat, and he's done exactly what we thought he would do. So when we missed him in the spring for that time, we didn't worry about it as much because of the fact that we knew that this guy's played a lot of football here, and he's an incredible leader for us. So he hadn't missed a beat. We're excited that he's full speed and healthy because we get to show him what this package is going to be able to do for him.
Jordan Wyatt got a lot of reps in the spring at safety. Where is he in terms of his development, in your pecking order, and what do you see his role this
Well, he's
year?
right in a competitive position. He's going hand in hand, step for step with Troy Castle. And what we talked about last night in the meeting room is that, hey, we're still competing now. One guy may run out there first, but it's still a competitive situation, and he's right there. He did some great things in the spring, and he hadn't done them yet, but we're early in the practice, so we're looking for him to step up and start to make some things happen just like he did in the spring.
In position battles like that, could you see those going all the way up to Baylor, or do you have a cutoff date where you'd like to have established this is my guy at one position or another?
Well, it goes right up until they run out there with the first defense. The competition is continual. At the quarterback position, sometimes you need to make those moves, but not at those others, not definitely at that position. It's always a competition. You can always lose your job, and you can always win a job.
Does that go for not just the start of the season, but year long?
Of course. We always want to play the best players, and what we have is we have a few packages to be able to get those guys who are just not at that starters level, but they give us enough that we got to get them on the field. So specifically Jordan, we hope that he continues to improve so that we can for sure get him into those package situations. But if he's able to beat a guy out and be the starter, well, we're happy for that because we got our best 11 on the field.
Is it too early to identify where the closest position battles are?
Today there'll be some stuff that'll show up today, but right now our guys they're all on all teams, all units are all competing to the best of their ability as far as we can see it. So we're gonna let them have a couple days in pads and let the cowards come to life and let the true men come to life. We'll see where we go from there.
With there being so many new guys that you expect with pads on now to learn a few things about some guys that maybe you didn't know as a little today.
Exactly. Now the spring showed us a lot about some of these guys, but Rodney Clemens just arrived, so we're gonna see if he's ready to play, or if we gotta hold off a minute for him.